Hey folks, my name's Steve Dutton, and my wife and I, Sarah, are Swan Song Properties here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And what we do full time is we build some spec houses, but we take particular pride in restoring old homes in the Wilmington area. And we're the ones who restored this beautiful Midtown farmhouse at 3821 Wilshire Boulevard. We've said it before, Sarah and I, that this is our favorite so far, and we mean it every time. But the same holds true here for the Midtown farmhouse. This really is our favorite. We take tremendous pride in this one, and we really go to great lengths to make sure that these old homes, with their beauty and their charm and nostalgia and all the wonderful things about them, are upfitted with all modern infrastructure, because that's what people want. They don't want problems with roof and wiring and plumbing and all that sort of thing. They want the charm and character of an old home, but with all the trouble-free accessories and infrastructure of new construction. So that's what we've done here. I'm going to take just a couple minutes, kind of a top-down approach, and go over quickly what we've done to restore this beautiful 1945 mid-century Midtown farmhouse here in Wilmington. Okay, so starting at the top and working our way down, we'll start with the roof. This is common for us. We've replaced the roof of the house, but unlike what a lot of, cheaper rehabbers would do, a lot of the cheaper guys, they'd either do a layover where they just put new shingles on top of the old shingles. Not a good idea, because it just adds a couple tons more weight onto an old house, so we don't like to do that. What we do is we strip all of the old roof covering off right to the wood. The main purpose for that is because if there's any problems with the roof, it usually is the wood. There's been some sort of water leakage somewhere over the years, so we get to expose that and repair any carpentry repairs or water damage or whatever that may have taken place over the years. Then after we've repaired any carpentry, we re-nail the existing sheathing. We'll replace whatever needs to be replaced, but we also re-nail all of it with ring shank galvanized nails so that it's got a nice new bond to the house. Then we put 30-pound felt paper down, and then 30-year architectural shingles. The architectural shingles not only last longer, but they look better. They kind of give it that farmhouse feel. Before I move on, there's a couple of things we added to the features of the roof that have improved the house. You can see that dark line at the very peak of the roof. That's a ridge vent. You know, a lot of these houses, when they were built in the 30s and 40s, they didn't have, the ventilation that has been learned to improve the length of the life of a given roof. So we've added that. We added the ridge vent in addition to the gable vent, so the attic is beautifully ventilated so that the house breathes properly as it should. Another thing we've done is we've replaced a lot of the flashing around the dormers, and especially the chimney. There is a chimney and a fireplace to the house, and often that flashing gets compromised over the years. A lot of people don't know how to put flashing on properly. Our roof guys do. We actually bed the flashing into the mortar of the chimney, so it literally is better than new. Brand new heat pump, professionally installed by a licensed subcontractor, under warranty, brand new. Professional paint job, inside and out, top to bottom. All new windows in the house. The windows are new. We're in the attic, 3821 Wilshire, and this is all brand new, professionally installed HVAC equipment, including all the ductwork, which is another aspect that a lot of rehabbers don't want to bother tearing out. In this case, when we bought the house, the ductwork had been in the crawl space. To me, that's not optimal for several reasons, one of which is it often ends up laying on the ground and like rodents get into it and stuff. It was nasty. I mean, the AC worked when we bought the place because it was blowing cool, but we ended up tearing it all out, and we relocated all of the ductwork up into the attic, which is a really nice, dry, climate-controlled space. And even better, you have like perfect access to service the equipment in the future. So it's all under warranty, it's all brand new, and it's all easily accessible. We've even installed pull-down steps to the attic. A lot of these older houses have like a little scuttle hole. You got to go get like your step ladder, climb up into the attic. We've got really nice, sturdy, aluminum pull-down steps. You can climb right up in your attic. Got even a little bit of storage room up here too. And I might add, all brand new insulation throughout the whole attic. It's all brand new. So like whatever nastiness might have been in the old insulation is long since gone. It's all brand new.
nice. It's about as energy efficient as a 1945 house gets.
New vinyl double hung windows throughout the house, easy to clean. Even on the second floor, you don't need ladders and stuff. Most of the wood floors in the house are original hardwoods, and they've been completely refinished with a couple of coats of beautiful satin polyurethane floor finish. Upstairs bathroom now, we got all new plumbing and fixtures. New toilet, new pedestal sink, and beautiful new subway tile shower on the second floor that services the 2 upstairs bedrooms. We also went with custom shelving. This is in the master bathroom. There's tons of closet space, certainly in the master suite. A lot of these older houses just don't have a lot of closet space. This one does. We made sure of it. But instead of those cheesy like wire shelves, we went with the nice wooden shelves. So custom install, looks great, and it's really functional. In the kitchen, we've got a custom range hood, and we've got a brand new stainless range, brand new stainless dishwasher, new countertops, new cabinetry, new plumbing, new wiring, new light fixtures, and the entire kitchen is shiplap, all custom shiplap. The laundry / utility room here. And while the wiring in the house is all updated and mostly new, the breaker panel actually was here when we bought the place because it's obviously been replaced in just recent years. It's modern, it's 200 amp, it's got square D breakers, and it is wired to code and all in perfect functional order, with hooked up to the new wiring and Romex throughout the house. One thing we did to kind of hide the ugly breaker panel is we made like a cool old rustic wood cover for it, so it kind of blends in with the old farmhouse. Bath off the kitchen is all new plumbing, all new fixtures, new pedestal sink, new toilet, wide plank pine floors, and we exposed a really cool old chimney. Looks awesome. Oh, and that wall, that old accent wall, that was original. It was just covered up. We uncovered it in polyurethane, the original wood. It's just gorgeous. One more thing on the outside deck here at 3821 Wilshire Boulevard. The deck was here, and the frame was in fantastic shape. We basically peeled up the old deck boards and reskinned it with new deck boards. So the entire surface of it is brand new. Framing was good, surface is new, railing is new. One of the things we do when we're restoring these old houses that I know for an absolute fact most of the other people who flip old houses are not doing, mostly because it's a nightmare to do, it's dirty and disgusting and painstaking and expensive, is we absolutely overhaul the crawl space. And we feel that's important because that's where most of the problems are when you buy an old house. So we make sure there are no longer any problems in the crawl space of these old houses. 3821 Wilshire Boulevard is no exception. When we bought the house, one of the first things we did, went in the crawl space, removed all the ductwork out of the crawl space. That's all now been relocated with brand new ductwork up in the attic, so that's all gone. Then we did what was literally called a rake-in grade, where we rake out any old trash, debris, nastiness, whatever, and remove it completely and grade the ground so there aren't a whole bunch of high spots, low spots. And then we put down a vapor barrier. This is a 6 mil plastic vapor barrier. This is actually a particularly dry crawl space. They aren't always that way, but this just helps keep it dry and keep, ground gases in the ground so far, and so forth. So that's all done. A brand new 6 mil vapor barrier. This is also where all the new wiring and plumbing is. You might be able to see some of that. That's actually PEX piping and modern Romex, and you can even see some of the PVC drain pipes. This is all new plumbing and wiring under the house, so it should be completely trouble-free for decades, if not a lifetime to come. One thing I noticed on the home inspection, and I discussed this with the previous buyer, was the home inspector called some of these supplemental piers non-permanent, which they absolutely have to use these kind of, scary legalese words. Whenever we are restoring one of these old houses and I'm working in the crawl space, I almost have to wrestle with the decision of adding piers where there may have not been a pier prior. And the reason I wrestle with it is because
a lot of these old houses have like deflection in the floor. You know, the floors kind of sag in the middle. Well, you don't really have to have a pier there. It just improves the look and functionality of the house by leveling the floor above. So I think it makes it a better product by adding supplemental or additional piers to level the floor. They are in addition to the original piers and structure of the house. They just basically level the floor. The reason it's a problem for me is anytime I add or build a pier to an original house, a home inspector has to call it out as like unoriginal or non-permanent or whatever. And the reason they have to say that is because the piers I added, I don't know if you can see this, they are not like the brick and mortar original piers of the house. They are concrete block. They're called a dry stack pier. And I can assure you there is absolutely nothing non-permanent about that pier. You could drive a railroad across that pier right there. The key components, and I've learned this over the years because we've restored dozens and dozens of historic homes, and I've built literally hundreds of piers. The key components per a structural engineer to a pier is that the blocks that touch the ground, they have to be concrete block, of course, so they don't rot. But they have to be the solid, they're called cap blocks. They're not hollow at all. They're solid, 4 by 8 by 16. Those have to touch the ground. Then you stack them in opposing directions. And then between the concrete block and the actual wood joist of the house has to be a piece of pressure treated wood, because the pressure treated can handle the moisture that the concrete might have introduced. So we added, 8 or 10 supplemental piers under this house so as to minimize the deflection in the floor. I maintain that it tremendously benefited the house, made a better product. Yes, they are not original piers, and any home inspector would not be doing their job if they don't point them out. But that is a correctly built dry stack pier designed by a structural engineer friend of mine, and they are essentially in keeping with North Carolina residential building code. One more thing I might point out about this particular crawl space: it is really super dry. A lot of crawl spaces have like fungus and nastiness in them. This one's super dry and clean. The joists are all clean, no rot. We added brand new insulation up under this crawl space. This is all brand new, so it's nice and energy efficient and clean. Also of noteworthy mention in the home inspection, in the crawl space of 3821 Wilshire, we had noticed, of course, that there had been some fire damage at some point in the house. Now, what we did not do was tear out the old wood, because it actually still had some structure to it, and it was fine. It wasn't falling apart or didn't have a smell to it or anything. It just had some charcoal on it from whenever the fire was, presumably a whole long time ago. What we did was we took pressure-treated wood. I always use pressure-treated wood in crawl spaces anyway. And we sistered up all the original wood. So it literally, see, there's a piece right over my head here. It literally has been rebuilt, essentially, building around the original with brand new 2x8 pressure-treated joists. And the damage was limited to just under the study. It's probably, 15 by 10 section of the house under the study near the kitchen, where there was some smoke damage on these joists. But again, the original joists were still doing fine. We just felt it would be best to go ahead and sister them up with new ones. So that whole problem's been solved, and it is good to go for a lifetime of service. Just like, let's not light it back on fire. It should be all set.